Almost everyone who lands in Australia does the exact same thing. They open Seek or Indeed the day after they arrive, upload the resume they have used from back home, and then apply for every cafe, restaurant, or retail job that they can find online. After 2 weeks, sending out hundreds of applications, and the only replies they ever get are automated rejection or complete silence. It's frustrating and it leaves you feeling like you're not good enough. But well, here's what's actually happening. A single dishwasher or barista job in Sydney can get up to 300 to 500 online applications within few days. The hiring manager doesn't even read all of them. Big companies use softwares that scan your resume before even a human opens it. And that software decides if you get seen or ignored. And what it's looking is very specific. It's looking for Australian phone number, a local suburb, some kind of local work experience, and usually one-page format. If your resume is 3-page long, has got a photo on it, has got an overseas address, the system often delete it before even anyone get to see it. You never even reach a person who does the actual hiring, and that's not your fault. Back home, a 3-page resume with your photo, every certificate since high school is completely normal. In some countries, that's exactly what employers expect. But in Australia, for entry-level jobs, that format tells the algorithm you're not a local candidate. And a lot of students never figure this out. They keep applying the same way for 3 or 4 months, burning through all their savings and wondering why absolutely nobody calls them back. The good news is that none of this is about your skills or English level. It's about a system you didn't know existed. And the first step in beating that system starts with your resume, but not the way you think. So the step 1 is the Australian resume pivot. The first thing you need to fix is your resume, not the content, the format. In Australia, entry-level resume should be exactly 1 page, not 2, not 3, just 1 page. Managers for casual jobs spend often around 15 seconds looking at each resume. They don't care about your family photo or grades from back home. What they want to know is these 4 things. First, do you live nearby? Second, are you available when they need you? Third, can you start working tomorrow morning? And fourth, if you have any work experience. If your resume answers these 4 questions clearly and fast, well, you move to the yes pile instead of getting deleted. So here's how to build your Australian resume when you have no local work experience. Put your name, your suburb, your Australian mobile number at the top with your email address so the manager can spot it right away within first few seconds. You don't need to put any photo, your date of birth, your marital status, your visa status. None of that matters here. Some of it can actually hurt you because it can signal the manager that you have just arrived in Australia. Now, under that, write 2 or 3 lines about what you're actually looking for. Something like reliable international student looking for casual hospitality work, available weekdays, weekends, and evenings, and can start immediately. This one line tells the manager you are flexible, you speak English, and you are ready to go. It says more than a long paragraph about your career goals. Then make sure to list your skills. Not that every job you have ever done, just the ones that matter for this specific role. So if you are applying for a cafe, list customer service, cash handling, teamwork, any extra language skills that you have. For retail, list communication skills, reliability, basic computer skills, because managers don't again read all the long list of skills you have. Then put your education, just your current degree in Australia, the highest qualification from your home country, and that's all you need. You don't need to list every school that you have went or every exam you have passed. Now the reference section, and this is where students often get stuck because they don't have any local bosses as yet. But the reality is you don't need one. You can often use your teacher from your university. In case if you haven't done any work experience, you can look for some volunteer work and put the manager from that volunteer work experience as one of your references. And again, local references matters so much more than the overseas references. So make sure to either use your current teacher, or even sometimes you can ask your current landlord to be your reference for the job role. Now doing this all will put you ahead of most of the applicants out there. Moving to the step 2, which is the certification shortcut. Now even with the 1-page perfect resume, you're still competing with 500 applicants for the same job. So instead of fighting that battle, you change the battlefield. You get a certificate that puts you into completely different category. And those jobs often pay more because they need someone who can start immediately without training. Now, RSA certificate costs you anywhere from $30 to $80 depending upon the state. And you can do these courses online. It can take around 3 to 6 hours to do that. And it allows you to then legally work in a bar, pub, restaurant that serves alcohol. Again, managers love hiring someone who already has it because they don't have to wait for you to get certified. But the RSA is just the beginning. If you want to earn even more, get a white card. That's the construction induction certificate. It costs around $100 to $150, but it opens up your door to traffic job, construction jobs, and even the traffic controller job pays you anywhere from $30 plus. Warehouse jobs can be anywhere from $30 to $40 per hour. And again, with the overnight loading, it can be even better. And then comes the aged care and disability support. Here you need a certificate 3 in individual support, but many of the providers will hire you while you're still studying for it. You can earn anywhere from $30 to $40 per hour for these sort of job roles. And obviously working on a weekends and public holidays will make it quite a substantial amount. And if you have a working with children check and a first aid certificate, you can also work as a private nanny or a babysitter in a wealthy suburbs. And you can earn anywhere between $30 to $40 per hour for doing this job role. Here's the strategy. Before you even start applying for the jobs, spend one afternoon and some money to get one of these certificates. Especially you might get started with RSA or white card. But having these certificates is not just enough. There's one specific move that will turn that piece of paper into real job offer. And that brings us to the step number 3, the walk-in strategy 2.0. You now have the right resume and the right certificate as well. And here's how you can turn that into actual job offer. Students often think walk-ins don't work anymore because everything is online. That's wrong. Small business owners in Australia, especially in hospitality, retail, still hire people they actually meet in person. They want to see your face, hear your English, and know that you live nearby. But there is a right way and there is a wrong way to do that. And showing up the wrong times means the manager will ignore you before you even open your mouth. Don't show up at 12 o'clock when the restaurant is full of customers. Never show up on a Friday night when the manager is dealing with the rush. You need to pick the exact right time. For restaurants and cafes, the best time is between 2 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. The lunch rush is over and the dinner prep hasn't started yet. And the manager's usually doing paperwork at the back. Retail shops are best at 10 a.m. on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. The opening chaos are usually finished and the manager has time to talk. Construction or warehouse sites work best on mid-week morning. Now before you go, do 5 minutes of research on Google or LinkedIn to find the manager's name. Then walk in with your one-page resume and a smile and a very simple script. Something like, "Hi, my name is Sam. I live 5 minutes away from here. I just got my RSA and I'm available for any emergency shifts. Do you have 2 minutes?" That's it. This works because you're not asking them to do you a favor. You are solving their biggest problem, which is staff who doesn't show up or who live an hour away. If you say you live nearby and you can cover no show, you have just offered them something they actually need. If the manager says apply online, don't just walk out and give up. Tell them you already applied, but you wanted to put a face to the name because that shows real confidence. Most managers will at least look at your resume while you're standing there. And if they like your face and your English, they might actually offer you a trial shift on the spot. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it does work. Some places will give you a paid trial shift, and that's quite normal in Australia. You work for an hour or two, they see how you fit, and then they decide whether to hire you or not. But if they ask you to do a full day for free, just be wary of that. Some of these could end up being a scam as well. Now, here is some hidden job markets that you may not know about if you have just arrived in Australia. Now, walking into every street sounds pretty exhausting, right? Fair enough. So here are 3 hidden places to find where almost no students are looking. First one is Facebook community groups. Search for groups like jobs in Melbourne or Melbourne hospitality staff wanted in your local suburb. Local business owners post their jobs because it's free. Then they usually need someone to start this week. Second, your university's internal job board. Most universities have roles for student ambassadors, peer tutors, tutors, library assistants that can pay you pretty well, anywhere from $30 to $50 an hour, and they almost never appear on Seek. You have to log into your student portal to find them. Third, apply directly on the corporate career websites for big supermarkets and warehouses. So if you're after night fill work at places like Kohl's or Woolworths, you don't need to go on Seek. You can go to their official career websites. The loading for the night shift often pay better, and I used to do that myself. Being a night filler, I used to get paid way more than the day shift. Now, a quick warning. Some jobs on Gumtree or Facebook will ask you to get an ABN and work as a contractor. That might sound flexible, but it means no superannuation, no workplace protections, and you pay your own taxes at the end of the year. Your employer must give you a pay slip within 1 day of paying you, and they must give you 12% of your earnings into superannuation fund. If they don't do these stuff, that's pretty much a red flag. You have a work rights here, and the Fair Work Ombudsman protect every worker in Australia, including international students. So if someone tries to pay you cash off the books or threaten you with your visa, they are breaking the law. So these were some steps you can take in order to get your first job without any local work experience. So stop fighting these softwares and algorithms. Make sure to have a right resume, a certification, and show up in person. So that's all pretty much for today's video. I hope you find some value in today's video. Please let me know if you have any specific question regarding whatever we have discussed in this video. And if you have any other suggestions for other international students who are coming to Australia, you can put that in the comment section below as well. And if you haven't downloaded our overseas student guide, it's available on our website for free, so feel free to check that out. The link will be in the description box below. And as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.